Segment number 2.
Most consequential.
Trump, staying on Trump, the big pharma executive order. So President Trump signed a major executive order on Monday aimed at significantly reducing prescription drug prices in the United States by 30 to 80% through implementing a most favored nation policy. They do that with acting in Los Angeles as well. This policy would ensure that U.S. pays no more than the lowest paid by other economically advanced countries for certain drugs, particularly those covered by Medicare and administered in doctors' offices. This is Truth Social? This is it. Wow. You guys want me to read it? This is a long one.
Yeah,
Too long.
I'll read the beginning. All right.
For many years.
For many years, the world has wondered why prescription drugs and pharmaceutical in the United States of America were much higher in price than they were in any other nation. That's right. Sometimes being 5 or 10 times more expensive than the same drug manufactured in the same laboratory or plant by the same company. It's always difficult to explain why embarrassing because in the fact that no correct or right answer. The pharmaceutical/drug companies would say for years it was research and development costs, and all those costs were and would be for no reason whatsoever borne by suckers of America alone. All right, our country will finally be treated fairly, and our citizens' healthcare costs will be reduced by numbers that never thought before. Additionally, on top of everything else, the United States will save trillions of dollars. Thank you for your great attention on this matter. Make America great again. So,
half measure.
what do you think, Brandon? What do you think? And I'm gonna come to you.
No, I mean it's a drop in the bucket, but like the real thing that everybody either seems to be terrified to talk about or have no idea about is that the patents, like when the patent expires, the price drops by 90%, and that's the actual market value. And like it's the only industry in the world where somebody's not allowed to create something once somebody else creates it. Like you create a drug that saves people from cancer, that gets rid of cancer, or like an asthma drug, a diabetes drug, they get 20 years of market exclusivity right off the bat, and then they usually get like an average of 78 years of market exclusivity.
78?
Yeah, that's the going average of
a cancer curing.
Can
drug.
I ask you a question, Brandon?
Yeah.
Is that how do they make generics?
So generics get made once the patent expires.
Okay,
so that's the only way.
So anything that has a generic has to be probably an older
It's
formula.
older
Or
version.
something.
Exactly. So and what sucks is like, let's say his company comes up with a cure for cancer,
Yeah, sure.
and they market. Like there should be some type of competition. What 20 years you corner the market, and I get like give them 10 years, give them 8 years, but 78 years, bro, 20 years of a patent not expiring.
And think about how fast technology goes in that time.
Oh my God, like Jake, that's what bothers me is they have cures for shit right now. Obviously, there's more money, Brandon, in keeping you kind of sick and dragging you along, helping you. You could live with these diseases, but there's cures for this shit. Bro, you mess with Big Pharma. You were talking about Boeing and how people suicide. People love. And blow whistles. They love killing themselves.
Dude.
You mess with Big Pharma, bro, it's not good, bro. Those guys got hitters.
It goes from $1 trillion industry to like probably a couple $100 million industry if they were to do this, because like the average price drop is like 98% once the patent expires. Jeez. Like, and it's such a waste of resources too. Like I was saying yesterday on the podcast that I worked at a big pharma company. I did global security there, and they had this one drug. It was like a 5-year-old company. They had one drug that was a rare blood disease drug, and it cost $100,000 per treatment. And they had
$100,000
per treatment.
That I'm sure that they would bill to the insurance company, not the individual necessarily.
Yeah, of course.
Well,
I mean, if you have
they worked
insurance,
out
I
through
guess.
like,
If you have insurance.
like
Yeah, right.
you're basically bankrupt, and like your life was like paying for the freaking the stuff.
So in your head, you're like, I'd rather die than be a slave for the rest of my life.
But there's also a whole like kind of money laundering thing with Medicare and stuff, where like Medicare ends up paying for a lot of this stuff. So, but anyway, so like there's a couple thousand patients, a multi-billion-dollar company just because of this rare blood disease drug, and they spent all their time and effort just lobbying DC and trying to tweak the drug just enough because the patent was about to expire when I was there, and everybody's freaking out. And they're like, oh, like we have like a new drug that's like 98% the same, but it might be just enough different for us to get a new patent. And they extended the patent and then saved the company.
Hey, look, there's an argument
Sound
of
like big water, though,
exploiting
but
it, but no, the thing is, I analogize it to copyright or trademark. Like this is something of your creation that you are entitled to enjoy the fruits of your own creation. Like if someone could just copy your book, copy your music, because why do you have exclusivity over your creation just because it's a book or music and not a patent? People will not put any money, time, or effort into trying to patent things. Whether or not there's patent abuse in terms of extending the patents, fine. Drop in the bucket, maybe, but I don't think so. I think it's kind of amazing where I grew up on the argument that, yeah, if you don't charge these amounts, there's going to be no incentive for R&D. Or But why are we paying more in America, or why are Americans paying more than Canadians than the Brits? And it's because Americans are paying more to subsidize the R&D, whereas the rest of the developed world is not. This is amazing. You just, RFK, if you watched the press conference, RFK says if England would increase their prices by 20%, it would represent something like $10 trillion reduction to be amortized across developed nations that can afford to pay a little bit more for their medications so that America is not subsidizing it. Flip side, I think it will also reduce a bit of the overprescription in America since they're making a shit ton of money doing it. And if they make a little bit less, there might be less of an incentive to over-medicate the American people.
Yeah, we're like
I think
75% of the
nerds
revenue.
are getting too much credit and paid too much. There's a nerd inflation. This guy is doing research like it wouldn't moke. I've never seen a scientist in my life. Now, what you're saying, being
Yeah, for
serious,
real.
what you're saying, and it's good that you brought up the music industry side of things, all right?
That's my specialty.
Technology giveth, technology taketh away, all right? You're Drake. I mean, you're Michael Jackson, all right? You have one hit song, you put it out there, everything is great. You're making millions of dollars of royalties, all right? Then some nerd, there's always the nerds.
Always a nerd.
Some nerd
In a
goes like,
basement.
hey, I'm going to do Napster now, all right? So the physical value of your song, of selling a record, is no longer. So what does Drake have to do? You know, like in old school medieval times that, you know, if in order to get your music played, you had to grab your guitar and walk miles and miles and go place to place. I think there's a level, and I think it's across the board. It's medical, it's entertainment, it's everything that needs a patent. There's a line between greed and protection that I think is not set properly. And I think we're missing out in a lot of incredible technology, remixing, recreations,
Oh, sure.
you know? So I think we're holding ourselves back. I feel I'm a capitalist at heart, but it's not like the guy that fixes your AC once. It goes like, this is a great job, the best job I ever done. I'm going to live off the royalties of this, you know?
Yeah. I
So-
see that.
Question though. So is it more similar to like a song, or is it more similar to like you make a TV, then nobody else could create a TV, or you make a camera, nobody else could create a camera? So like, is it
That's the thing. That's
but like,
the-
which
those
one
are-
is it?
those are the lines.
Because you don't patent a TV
We don't
once you
know.
create a TV.
And I don't know who you are anymore, Brandon. I know you work for Big Pharma, like
better than Big Water.
I've told everybody.
Who is this guy? I thought we were friends, Brandon.
Well, I told them they were all disgusting when I was there because like they were all like hoping and praying that they could extend the patents. I'm like, oh yeah, good, congratulations, guys. You're just gonna continue bankrupting a bunch of sick people.
So Brandon, what do you, if you had a solution for what's going on, what would you think?
I
What
where's
he's
the
doing? Are
line?
you happy with what he's doing?
I am. It's a step in the right direction because like they're grossly overpriced. So I mean, to knock it down 40% or so, that's great. But still, like way too expensive. I think that like if you're the first one to create it, you get revenue share from anybody else who creates it. Like
I like that.
like
Like a percentage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it'll be much cheaper. But you'll like if you're the first one to do it, you'll get like a revenue share from the other companies for like 20 years instead of like just have market exclusivity for 20 years.
I like that. I like that.
It is. There
We're
is
not
something.
coming to you.
Sorry, there's
no,
just
no,
something
no.
fundamentally different between pharmaceuticals and I don't know.
water?
Tech?
No, what's it called? Fashion.
Yeah.
It's like someone wants to waste a shit ton of money on a stupid purse that is opulent, whatever. Go ahead and do it. But to say that I'm going to make you pay X amount for diabetes medication, which is life saving
Yeah,
and
when
not
it's life or
purely
death shit, that
so
pisses
you know,
me off.
can you cap the profits? Then you're going to say it's sort of anti-capitalist.
Capitalist.
Can you sort of find a way to maximize over a longer term period of time? Whatever. But it is something fundamentally different about healthcare versus all other industries, music and art.
That is a great thought, you know, because the thing is, they're not competing on the free market, all right?
No.
For example, if you want shoes, you can get shoes at Walmart, and that's one experience. Or you can go to Hermes and get very expensive shoes. You get treated differently. They're different qualities. Like I think a tier system, and they need to start putting in the work to get a better medical experience according to your means, without threatening life. I don't know.
That's terrifying.
How is it terrifying? Maybe you can get better pills.
You'll get a good colonoscopy, or you'll get the rough colonoscopy.
Yeah, right.
You get your
It's like,
$5
you can get the
colonoscopy.
painless
They
tooth
spin on it.
removal or the archaic one. Like, like
What were your thoughts, Jake? You were going to say something.
it's a hard thing for me because healthcare, in my opinion, should be one of those capitalist exempt categories.
Okay.
Which
Here we
people-
go.
No, I know,
Here
I
we
know,
go.
I know.
Let's
go to
I
Canada,
know,
commie.
I know. Well, no, hold on.
Commie? No, go ahead.
But it's
Go ahead.
because like you're a scientist and you create this life-saving drug. Amazing. I think you should be able to profit off that for the rest of your life. But by profit, I mean not necessarily from the consumer, but being subsidized in some way. I know like everybody's afraid of putting anything towards the government, but it's like, what if you make some amazing patent and the government says, that's incredible, this saves so many lives, we're going to pay you per year, $500,000, $1 million, XYZ, whatever it is, and then we're gonna take the drug and sell it at a lower cost to consumer or little to no cost because it saves people's lives. Like you said, the people that had rare blood diseases or whatever, like you didn't ask for that. You were born into something very random, and now you're in debt on Earth because of it.
Yeah.
It's stupid. And I mean, I think this is awesome. If it works the way that it's supposed to work. Like if it actually straight up slashes drug prices by up to 80%, that's incredible.
Well, even if it halves the price, even if it reduces it by 30%, it will also fix the inherent corruption of the American healthcare system, which is you're dealing with industries that are, the insurance companies will agree to pay more because, it's the internal corruption of the whole thing.
Yeah, sure.
Plus the overprescription of medications, given the profits that they're making. Maybe it's naive of me to think, but if it's not quite so corrupt and not quite
lucrative.
so lucrative,
Yeah.
they won't be as eager to say, hey, I'll slap you on some SSRIs or
and
whatever.
it's weird because we were just talking about Boeing and the military industrial complex XYZ. It's kind of the same with drugs. Like you remember the guy in Congress or a hearing somewhere where he held up the bag of bolts and he's like, "How much do you think this bag of bolts is?" He's like, $30,000 for 10 bags.
90.
Right, something insane. Right? It's the same thing with drugs.
Yep.
Those are expensive bolts. You don't know what.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with
Bathroom,
drugs.
different bathroom.
This drug cost the insurance company $150, but it cost me like 6 cents to make.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do it because I know they're gonna pay for it. So I'm gonna keep, kind of exploiting the companies, exploiting the people who are taking it because I can make more money, and I think that's tough.
Look, I'm not a big friend of human rights. I don't believe in them, especially health. Like people go like, "Oh, health should be a human right." No, it's not. Anything that requires the labor of another human being is not right anymore. All right,
But you are pro free market.
and that's what bothers me about this.
Yeah, right.
This is against the market.
Exactly.
They're tampering with the market,
The
and I
government
don't
got-
like that
No,
at
but
all.
that's not true because you have
Yeah.
legislation that came in and artificially modified the market.
Exactly.
Open market.
That's it, and this is
That's
why.
anti-free market.
That's why I like what Trump did, and I don't like this going on. Like, for example,
He's on the fence.
yeah, I'm not. I don't,
He's just
yeah,
like-
He's
yeah.
like, I love it, but
like
I
it,
want
but
less.
it's bad.
I want
No,
less.
no. I want more of this, more deregulation of every market. I don't give a shit about health.
Yeah.
But
But-
it is what it is.
But let me ask you a question, and I see where he's coming from because let's say, God forbid, I have a cancer. Well, all I have is the VA. It's not real health insurance. It's government health insurance. What if I'm a civilian and I have this disease and this company has a freaking drug that can literally save my life, but I can't afford it? What do I do? What do I do? And yeah, he's slashing prices, but $100,000 off of a patent.
Vinny, I love you. I will sell my kidney to help you, but
But I'm dead.
tough
I'm
fucking
dead.
luck. You're dead. You're dead because you didn't have
Hey
the
guys,
money.
and
You-
that's why Unusual Suspects is good because that's raw and real. He's like, hey, Vinny got a lump on his neck.
Kill him.
That guy, he's gonna die of cancer.
The
I
thing
just
is,
think,
you can't afford things, so you can't.
No, but I
that's
mean,
the
no,
thing.
but
that's-
but
dying
it's
and then have
artificial
the-
though. It's artificially high, which
That's
is
what
the
I'm saying, it's
problem.
That's what I don't like.
No,
That's
but,
why I
hold on,
hate.
but this is
Yeah.
the thing. You can't afford things. Too bad. No one's going to let someone starve to death on the street because they can't afford food. So,
Oh,
I
watch
mean,
me.
It happens all the time.
We'll walk over a homeless guy to feed a dog.
that's
I
only
do
because you
too.
Down the street.
It's only because you got to ship $200 billion to Ukraine to fund more death and destruction there. But no, I say when it comes to
cocaine.
food, the government, and they say I'm not a big government person at all, but for people who can't afford food, you don't let them starve to death on the street. So health is another similar issue. There are those who can afford it if they get proper insurance, and then there are those who will not be able to, and that is what the safety net is for. It's not for artificially inflating
But
the
that-
entire
Insurance is kind of the problem, though, to a degree. Like, you know how the college tuition got so expensive because the government guaranteed loans? So the college was way cheaper before the government guaranteed loans instead of banks doing it. So health insurance is kind of the same way, where it makes the price of healthcare more expensive because like the insurers are willing to give that that amount of money.
But that safety net is destroying the human spirit.
No,
Viva,
it's
destroying.
no.
Like I'm a hypocrite, and I'm a terrible example of this. But if we were cavemen and I was this unfit, I will die. And as long as
Yeah.
if I can hunt, if I can take care of my family, if I can beat up Brandon to take his women back to
Never.
my cave,
Oh,
you're
Mammoth
done.
is gonna eat
That-
your
No,
ass.
but this is the thing. In the caveman days, if you were to ever get that desperate, community would say, we're going to keep this guy, we're going to help this guy, because if he gets desperate enough to come after our food, he'll kill us and kill himself. And then everybody suffers.
Wouldn't they just
There's
eat
not
them?
enough killing going around.
Oh, America would be if there was a plane crash and we were like those Argentinian. I think they're from Argentina.
Oh my-
That
Dude,
they
also, a
landed-
documentary on that.
the
Side note,
documentary was-
insane.
Y'all, I'd be eating your ass.
100%.
Boys.
Whoa.
No, I'm just saying.
Whoa.
Because for you guys that don't know, there was a plane crash. There was like athletes, and they were on this
Yeah, so
mountain.
the movie was called Alive.
Alive. And they had to figure that they ran out of food, and they were up there for a long time. They had to like figure out who they were gonna eat, the dead people, and like they were cutting up chunks of their ass.
Maybe I'm
Oh, I
grass-fed.
would
Don't worry
I'd
about
put
it.
hot sauce on your ass, and we'd be eating Humberto
For weeks,
Humberto
for
filet for weeks.
They're gonna be
It's
doing
wild.
they're gonna do an Alex Jones remix. I will eat your neighbor's ass.
All right, guys. Well, moving on to something lighter.
Oh my
Something
god!
lighter, yeah.
Shit. Okay, let's cut this. Oh.
That's so funny. So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.